Hello, welcome back. I am the Ella.O and you are at my channel, The Breath Mama, a place all about being a mama and breathing and all kinds of other juicy stuff to get us through day-to-day life. Today is Wednesday, which again means it's time for the Hump Day Huff. The Hump Day Huff is a weekly segment on a Wednesday focused on introducing you to some simple breathwork practices that you can try at home in the comfort of your own space and learn to connect more deeply with the absolute wonder and magic that is your breath. Today we are on part 4 of the Nadi Shodana breath practice. So in part 1, we focused on breathing in and out of our nostrils in an alternate fashion, because Nadi Shodana means alternate nostril breathing, or nostril even. So that was week 1, or part 1. Part 2 was then equalizing the breaths on either side. So not just focusing on breathing in and out, but making sure that the inhale and the exhale were of equal length. Then part 3 last week was about introducing an internal retention of the breath. So instead of just breathing in and out of alternate nostrils, it then was about breathing in, holding the breath in before exhaling and moving on to through exhaling out of the other side and then repeating the other way around. This week we are moving on to, as well as having the internal retention, we are going to introduce the bahir, or external retention. So I've said that incorrectly. It's a bahir kumbhaka, which is external retention of the breath, which basically means you breathe out and hold your breath out before inhaling again. And again, this is something that has a myriad of benefits for us, which is why we use this to progress the Nadi Shodana practice. Before I go any further, I want to speak about the contraindications, which are: this practice should not be done if you are in the late stages of pregnancy, if you have COPD, or if you have a heart condition, high blood pressure, any serious chronic condition. You shouldn't be doing this type of Nadi Shodana, but you can do part 1 and part 2, which are the breathing in and out on both sides and then equalizing the breath on the inhale and the exhale. But just leave this one alone. So the benefits of adding in the bahir kumbhaka, or external retention, include: number 1, effectively ridding the body of carbon dioxide. So getting rid of those CO2 stores in the lungs. And this is really super great because it allows us then to release the body of toxins. Because you may or may not know this, but 70% of the toxins in our system actually come out through our exhalation. So our lymphatic system, which is responsible for ridding the body of toxins, requires respiration to actually complete that process, because it doesn't have its own pump. The lymphatic system doesn't have its own pump. And if you like, the respiratory system is the lymphatic system's pump. So when we introduce the external retention, we are helping to make sure that we complete this process, getting rid of CO2 out of the system really effectively. And doing that then means that we're going to increase the amount of oxygen that we can get in, because by effectively getting rid of CO2 and the toxins in the lungs and in the from the system, this means we are going to, when we inhale, more effectively receive oxygen. And we need oxygen to fuel our system, fuel our cells, cellular regeneration, energy levels, all kinds of amazing things that oxygen does for us. So that's 1 and 2. The third thing is this, breathing in this way and including the external retention, the bahir kumbhaka, will stimulate the brain centers, because we are getting rid of more toxins, more waste, and also increasing energy levels, which then has that knock-on effect of making the little grey matter function a lot better. The fourth thing is any type of breath work we do consciously, we actively focus on, brings feelings of tranquility and peace. It also increases our mind and clarity, the focus and concentration that we can then experience by going through these practices. Changing the chemistry, the gases that we have in our system supports this. So I can't remember what number I got up to. Let's say we're on number 5 then. So number 5 means that number 5 is about having increased vitality, and this kind of continues on the theme here. So when we are breathing more consciously, and in this case specifically upping the body's potential for ridding it of toxins, that means that when we get the oxygen in, it works more effectively and efficiently and allows us to get really good quality energy into our system. And energy will increase our vitality, our sense of well-being, and just like that real hardcore feel-good factor that the je ne sais quoi that's sometimes quite elusive to describe. That is what will happen when we include our external retention. Number 7, bahir kumbhaka also is really, really effective at clearing energy blocks in our system. So when we look at this in yoga, so how am I going to describe this? When we, let me backtrack. So we have 3 main energy channels in the body: the Ida, the Pingala, and the Sushumna Nadis. So these run down the right, left, and in the central channel. So when we start working with the let's backtrack. When we start working with the alternate nostril breathing, so we are balancing the hemispheres of the brain, which is, I've mentioned this in a couple of the other videos, when we're breathing on both sides of the nostrils, we are balancing the hemispheres of the brain and balancing the energy in and out of both sides of the body. This also has an effect on the energy channels. Now, if I remember correctly, the Ida is on the left of the body, which is the female channel. The Pingala is on the right side of the body, which is the male channel. And these cross over the Sushumna Nadi, which is the central channel. So if we have any blockages on either side, this will affect how the energies cross over and move through these channels and through the central channel. So when we start balancing by breathing on either side, we start introducing the start of this process, clearing of the energy blocks in the system happening. And then when we get to the part where we're introducing the Antara internal and bahir kumbhakas external, then this really starts to amp up the process of this happening in our bodies. So I'm going to check how correct I have been with it, whether it is the Ida on the left and Pingala on the right. I definitely know Sushumna's in the middle, and I will put that in the description if I've got that back to front. So number 7, bahir kumbhaka helps to clear energy blocks in the systems. And then number 8 as well, this following on from this balances the pranas in the left and then the right side of our body, the Ida and Pingala. That's my story and I'm sticking to it, but I'm going to double check. And then this increases and enhances the flow of energy through the Sushumna Nadi. And why do we want the Sushumna Nadi to be clear? Because this is the one that goes through all the chakras, leads us up to enlightenment. So yes, please, large portions of that. Thank you. Number 9, breathing in this way will help us feel less stressed, less anxious. It will promote those feelings of relaxation, of bliss, and of general chill time. So, I mean, I can't remember, I think I said 9 different things that were influenced and extended by the old bahir kumbhaka, which is the external not rotation. I think my brain's a bit jumpy today by the external retention. So I think I need to have a little breathe. So I just took myself off to have a little breath, calm down a bit, maybe be a bit more coherent and lucid. I mean, I did do that, but also I ran out of space on the old memory card, which actually I thought was quite poignant because it reminded me, it was like a physical manifestation of one of the videos I'm going to link below about why we need to do our work. If we don't do our work, our memories get all cluttered, and then the more cluttered and full up they become, they get limited and then they just stop working. So you got to clear the old memory, either in the form of a memory card or here, energetically, physically and emotionally, so that you can be free and unlimited. That was a huge digression. Okay, so what we are going to do for part 4 of Nadi Shodana, alternate nostril breathing, introducing the bahir kumbhaka or the external retention. We're going to begin by clearing out nasal passages. So blow your nose, do whatever you have to do to free this area from obstruction. Then we're going to take 2 preparatory breaths, and that's just closing the eyes, getting centered, being more connected with the practice that you're about to begin. Number 3, we're going to take 3 full yogic breaths. So starting down by the pelvic floor, moving right the way through the lower, mid, upper abdomen, and then the lower, mid, upper chest, all the way to the clavicles. And then the exhale reverses that process. So exhaling from the top of the chest, mid, lower chest, and then the top of the abdomen, mid and lower abdomen. 3 of those breaths. Then we will move on to the Nadi Shodana, and we're going to do everything to the count of 5. So we're going to find our hand position which suits us best. So if you prefer moving the first and middle finger on the third eye and using the ring finger over the left nostril, and then the thumb over the right nostril, so that's with your right hand. My preferred position is to tuck in the first and middle finger and use the ring and the pinky over the left nostril, and then the thumb over the right side. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover the right side, because we always start by breathing in on the left, and then we're going to breathe in to the count of 5 on the left side. Then we are going to close both nostrils and hold the breath in the body for a count of 5. Then release the right nostril and exhale out of the right nostril for a count of 5. And with the breath still out of the body, covering the right nostril and holding for a count of 5. And a little trick before we start breathing in on the right hand side is to just have a slight, because there'll be a little bit more to let go of, exhale before we inhale for the count of 5 on the right side. So after the external retention, the bahir kumbhaka, we release the right side, breathe out a little, and then breathe in straight away on the right nostril for a count of 5. Hold closed both nostrils for that internal antara kumbhaka for a count of 5. Then release the left side, and exhale out of the right side, release the left nostril and exhale out of the left nostril, and then cover both nostrils and hold that breath out again for a count of 5. So that is one round. So in, hold, out, hold. In, hold, out, hold. One round. We're going to do this together for 5 rounds, and then we'll see how we feel. So please breathe along with me, and you can watch to see how it goes so that it makes sense to you. And once you've got the hang of it, you can try this yourself for between 5 to 10 rounds. If 5 breaths feels like too much and you have completed all the other stages before you get to this stage, please reduce it. You can start with 2, holding for a count of 2. So breathe in for 2, hold for 2, out for 2, hold for 2, in for 2, hold for 2, out for 2, hold for 2. This is a progressive practice, so by no means jump in at a level or an amount that doesn't feel comfortable for you, and you can always, with consistent practice, build up the amount of time that you're breathing and holding for. So just gently closing the eyes if you are going to breathe along and try. And connecting your sit bones with the support. So if you're sitting on the floor or sitting on a chair, wherever you're sitting, it's best to sit on the floor if possible. Feeling your connection with the sit bones and the floor, spine straight, head reaching for the sky. And just taking 2 breaths here. Preparatory breaths. Now we're going to move on to that yogic, 3 full yogic breaths. So remember, the breath is coming all the way through the abdomen, right the way up to the clavicles, and then reversing. And again. And then one more time. And at the bottom of this exhale, getting your hands in your preferred position, covering over the right nostril and breathing into the count of 5. Covering both nostrils and holding the breath here. Releasing the right side, exhaling. Holding the breath out for a count of 5. Having a little breath out and then breathe in. Hold for a count of 5. Exhale, releasing the left exhale out of the left nostril for 5. Cover that left nostril and hold for 5. Breathe out a bit and inhale for 5 on the left. Hold. Release right out right. Cover right, hold. Exhale and inhale. Through the right. Cover right and hold. Release left and exhale. Cover left and hold. Release left, quick exhale and in for 5. Cover left and hold for 5. Release right and exhale for 5. Cover right and hold for 5. Quick exhale and inhale for 5. Cover right and hold for 5. Release left and exhale for 5. Cover left and hold for 5. Now repeat in your own time. Releasing your right hand down. Keeping your eyes closed. Breathing in and out through both nostrils together. Maintaining that connection with your seat bones and the floor, feeling the sensations in your body. Noticing how that feels. And taking a big breath in and sigh it out. And gently blinking open the eyes. Okay, so how was that? I am feeling very relaxed, and I'm feeling, how would I describe it? Just slightly spacey. And that's got to be, you know, my tranquility kicking in. Yeah, it's going to take me a little minute to really make sense. So let me know how this was for you. One of the things, especially when we introduce retention, if we're not used to doing it, is it can make us feel a little uncomfortable. Perhaps we want to rush the counting on that part of it, and that's totally fine. If it feels like that for you, just bring the ratios down, bring the amount that you're counting on all the bits of the practice down. So reduce the length of your inhale, reduce the internal retention, reduce the length of your exhale, reduce the external retention. Or perhaps if this doesn't feel quite comfortable, stick around with the other practices and use them for a few more weeks before you feel ready to progress to the retentions. And that's really important, to follow and be in tune with how you feel. It's not a race. There's nothing to prove to anybody, and you're not going to especially get more benefits if you are struggling just for the sake of taking the next step. And that's something that I think is really part of our culture, this idea that we've got to keep moving on to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. Let's just stay with where it feels like we are still stretching ourselves and getting, because we will be getting a benefit. We don't have to like push completely through those feelings of expansion just because, I don't know, there's something else we can be doing, when what we are doing is probably perfect. So that was the Hump Day Huff for today, which is actually, well, no, it's this, I'm filming this on the autumn equinox. So autumn blessings to you. I hope you are enjoying the shift of season, even though in the UK we are having some phenomenal, warm, luminous sunshine through what would ordinarily be not so warm days. So hope you're enjoying that. I am Ella.O, also known as the Breath Mama. It's been fabulous being with you this time. Please let me know how you got on. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Share with someone who you think could benefit, if not this video, any of the other things that would resonate. And I would love to hear from you. Big love.